Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I am talking about the iPhone 13. It came out, well, it is coming out, especially for Japan. It's supposed to come out on the 24th, and today is the 23rd here. So yeah, as of this video, I am waiting one day, but I'm not gonna get it. And here is why. Now, I feel like Apple, when they're doing these events, it's very nice because it's all pre-produced and it looks nice, it looks cinematic, and the way they present things is just like none other, right? Like everyone else is trying to copy them. I saw a Xiaomi event, pretty much copying it, but not as good quality as Apple. And I give props to Apple for making those type of events and producing it. Whoever's producing and doing the cinematics and editing, good job. All right, so the Apple event that happened for the iPhone 13s, very nice. I love the production of it and everything. As a cinematographer and a filmmaker, photographer, I can admire their work. However, that doesn't really matter when it comes to some of the things that they don't mention in the Apple event. All right, so we're just going to go straight into it with cinematic mode, because cinematic mode is the most highly determined feature of this whole event. Okay, this whole iPhone 13 is like made for cinematographers, for people who want to do video and filmmaking. That instant bokeh effect when you're filming, that is great, because when you face away from the camera, it focuses on another subject or whatever you're trying to present to, and then when you face back towards the camera, it puts you back in focus. And you can do the post-production work as well, so you can choose how much blur you want and everything. So the amount of control that you get with this bokeh effect is more than any phone out there, and it's comparable to what you would use in a mirrorless camera. However, there is some haloing around the subject, so it's still artificial. It's not, you know, natural bokeh that you get with like a lens with a mirrorless camera. Is still digital. So Peter McKinnon did a good video on that, so go check out his video. I'll link it in the description below. But all this sounds great and it looks great, but what they didn't tell you is you cannot shoot 4K with this feature, cinematic mode. You can only shoot in 1080 30 frames per second, and that is a huge caveat. Now, there could be hardware limitations to the cinematic mode being only at 1080 30 frames per second, but you know what, it doesn't really matter what the actual reasoning behind it is. It's the fact of being upfront and forward with that, because a lot of people are just going to assume you can do 4K. And it's just from a morality standpoint. It's not really just like, oh, well, you know, if they explain, oh, we can only do 1080 30 frames per second because of such and such reasons and hardware overheating or whatever the issue is, that would have been better than just silently doing it and then leaving people to find out later about it after they get their phone and they're like all happy with it. I mean, people might still be happy with it. It's just, you know, it's kind of like they snuck one in there. If you did notice, during the actual promotion, they showed you like a little movie clip, and that clip looked 1080 to me, because it seemed a little softer, and even maybe they tried to oversample it by exporting it 4K, but it still looked a little bit soft. Now, if you are going for that soft look, sure, it doesn't really matter. You can export 4K and it'll still look somewhat halfway decent. But honestly, I thought we were over that 1080p by now, which most of us are shooting 4K anyways, or we're used to 4K. But yeah, downgrade to 1080, 30 frames per second if you want to use cinematic mode. But maybe they were going for that softer look, that's why. But yeah, I don't know. I wish they kind of mentioned these things in the Apple event, but obviously they want to sell it, right? Everyone's like, ooh, and then pre-order. I get what they're trying to do, but it's also a little bit sleazy and sneaky. I don't know. I don't like it. All right, the next thing we're going to do is talk about ProRes. ProRes is actually pretty nice. Is it actually raining right now? Anyways, ProRes is really great for that file that's compressed. Even though that it is compressed, the file size is still big, so don't get that wrong. ProRes has just a little bit more color depth to it, so when it comes to color grading, you can use it. Now, there's two things in this event that Apple didn't tell you, and both of them are actually pretty important to mention. Now, the Pro versions will be able to shoot ProRes. However, you're not going to be able to use ProRes and cinematic mode at the same time, so it's either you get the blurry background or you get the compressed ProRes file. So, I don't know about that. And the second caveat to this ProRes feature is if you want to record in 4K 30 frames per second in ProRes, do not buy the 128 gigabytes of storage, because if you get the 128 gigabytes of storage, you are limited to 1080 at 30 frames per second. They failed to mention this, and that is gut-wrenching. I don't know whether to trust Apple with these Apple events, because you really have to see the actual specs after they put it on the website and make sure you are reading this, because if you don't and you just go willy-nilly with pre-ordering things just based off of the Apple event, you are going to get stuck with these caveats, okay? So these are things that hopefully you watch before you purchase the iPhone 13 or even pre-order it or cancel your pre-order if, you know, these are the features that are going to make it and break it for you. So yeah, hopefully you guys see this video before you made your pre-order. But yeah, that is it for this video. I am keeping my 12 Pro Max and waiting until the 14 or the 15 because I'm waiting for one feature, and that is for just from a video standpoint, okay, as a cinematographer, I want their own log profile. I want at least 12 stops of dynamic range on their own log profile, like a log or something. Apple, you can use that idea, no problem. I'm not gonna try to get royalties. Otherwise, that's all I want, log. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.